And nobody's happier than Hugh Hewitt. I mean, obviously, we're devastated by the news out of Southern California, and I want to check in with Hugh in Orange County. But on a happier note, this is a guy who just got relieved of a prison sentence. For years, he has been waking up at, think about this, when Hugh is often on the West Coast doing a morning drive show, which means, when I say this, it makes my teeth ache. He's on from 3 to 6 a.m. when he's in California. That's an overnight shift. So let's welcome colleague and friend Hugh Hewitt.
Hello, Mike.
California, who's got a big smile on his face. I can't hear you loud and clear. How happy are you to be bumped to afternoons next week, huh?
Well, I'm glad it's next week because at least I was able to do a service to the early risers in California this morning and tell them where not to go, which is Sylmar, Pasadena, or Pacific Palisades. But you're right, I'm coming to the end of my 3-hour shift. I'm looking forward to moving the afternoon drive in Washington, D.C. Next week and following you. But I've been carrying you for years, Mike. You know, I put you on my back every morning, deliver you this audience. This morning, though, all I can talk about...
There goes my lead-in.
You have never seen anything like this. And I doubt, although you've been in hurricanes, I think, the wind at 90 miles an hour isn't something new to me in Southern California. So it's going to be a very long day out here.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's happening. Over 30,000 people have been ordered to evacuate. I know we've been talking a little bit and getting reports from you. And, of course, I was glued to your show today as you were going through all the details. I mean, these are catastrophic fires. And a lot of people have an image, well, it's Malibu, Pacific Palisades, just a bunch of rich people. They'll be okay. There's people of all walks of life, of all income levels who are being impacted by these catastrophic fires, correct?
Correct. And although Pacific Palisades is about as Tony a district as you get, and there will be celebrities who have lost their home. My friend Leslie Marshall, who I do Brett Baer special report with, her house is gone. People that you see that live in L.A., people have lost their houses. But there are fires in Glendale. Glendale's not too far from KRLA. I mean, the mothership KRLA is in Glendale. I'm hoping the fire stays north of the freeway up there. But out in Riverside, that's the working class, and there's a fire there. And we will do this for 24 hours, Mike. This is going to go for another 24 hours. What is going to be the scandal? Everyone predicted it. Everybody knew it was coming, but nobody appears to have prepared anything special. And Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, isn't in the country.
Where's she?
Africa, West Africa.
That's
I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe she might want to come home.
Yeah, she might want to come home in a hurry. Rick Caruso, if you can get the tape of him talking to Channel 11 last night, he is ballistic. He ran in the mayoral race against Karen Bass, and Rick is upset because Pacific Palisades, they've lost their water pressure. So there's no ability to fight the inferno. And if people remember the Oakland Hills fire in 1991, 300 homes burned to the ground, 25 people dead, this is that exponentially. It's much bigger. And when the sun comes up, it's still dark in California. We don't have any pictures yet. People are going to be stunned. Absolutely stunned.
Oh. Horrifying. And, you know, Hugh, there's a debate that has already begun, and this is something President Trump has brought up in the past. Environmentalists don't want to do this clear cutting. They don't want to, they want to save every tree. They want to preserve every acre. I'm of the mindset, look, people are devastated. People are without everything. I don't know that today's the day to have that debate, but do you want to put your toe in the water and talk a little bit about some of these environmental policies and how it can contribute to this kind of devastation and loss?
Absolutely. For the last 30 plus years, I've been doing broadcasts, but I've also been a practicing lawyer and law professor, and I practice land use. And the Endangered Species Act and the Clean Water Act have handcuffed the local authorities, the state authorities, and often private landowners on what they can do on their property to clear sage scrub. And sage scrub is our dominant ecosystem in Southern California. We don't have trees. We have some palm trees at the beach, but it's mostly coastal sage scrub. Well, that stuff burns like kindling. And if you don't clear it, your home's going to burn down. And there have been many controversies over many decades about what the environmentalists have done to retard the ability of firefighters and homeowners and landowners to protect their property against just this sort of disaster. Now, today may be different. This is where When you get to Pacific Palisades, people are building their houses right up to the edge of the Santa Monica Mountains, and it's inevitable that fire will come down. What's not inevitable is that the water reservoirs are low and the water pressure fails. That's human error. And this, I pointed out to a number of people, New York, your home, has got a blue city domination and a collapse of civil society and safety. Chicago's schools and safety have collapsed, and now California's infrastructure. These are all blue areas, right? Blue New York, blue Chicago, California. They don't know how to do the basics. They spend too much time on the absurdities, and the absurdities get people killed and their homes destroyed.
Visiting with Hugh Hewitt, our longtime morning host who moves to afternoons, replacing the Seb Gorka slot as Dr. G goes into the Trump administration next week. Chris Stigall takes over mornings beginning Monday. Of course, we're going to be in D.C. for the inauguration. Hugh, and you mentioned my home. That's my former home. Now I'm a Floridian, and I do want to ask you, this is a real naive question because I don't know wildfires. You guys know this in California. Here in Florida, we have hurricane shutters, we have hurricane-resistant windows, we have generators for our homes when the power goes out. Every time these wildfires occur, especially for some of these more upper-income folks in these neighborhoods, I wonder, is there not any kind of fire-resistant system that people can have in their yards, around their homes? I see people out there with garden hoses. I mean, a wildfire, sure, it's fast-moving, but it's not instantaneous. Is there no way to keep the flames off somebody's house as the flames are approaching?
This is a unique event. Now, I live on a hillside. And so I've got my eye on the hillside because with 60 to 90 mile per hour winds, the fires in LA can send embers a long way. And idiots go out, firebugs go out, and they start fires. So I'll be alert all day long and all night long. And our studio is also built up in the sage scrub area. So I'll be alert all day long. You can do a lot, and I've done a lot, and a lot of homeowners do a lot. But if you do not clear the coastal sage scrub from mountains, and for example, the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, and you get a fire there in a Santa Ana event, that is a foreseeable event. And I do believe a lot of insurers are just going to leave California. Like Florida, it's hard to get hurricane insurance. I just don't know that insurers are going to, you can't get earthquake insurance except through the state authority here because the cost of Northridge was so high. I think we're going to run into a fire problem now. This is going to be such a catastrophic hit for the insurance industry.
All right, break a leg Monday. We're excited for your move. I hope you'll at least now start to get at least close to me in our donor campaigns, because this time, I mean, December, it wasn't even, that was a rout, my friend. That was a rout.
All we've done is deliver you the people who have been so generous for years, and now they're going to be generous to me in the afternoon tonight. So I'm glad we're out here for the last 8 years. But I'm back in the game.
Now I'm your lead-in. Level playing field. Now I'm your lead-in. I'll be delivering my. Listen, if my audience goes to you, I'm in big trouble. So, all right, Hugh, great seeing you, and keep fighting the good fight. We'll talk to you. All right, take care. Hugh Hewitt joining us from Southern California. Again, over 200,000 people without power. They're calling it a worst-case scenario, mass evacuations in Los Angeles. It's awful. It is absolutely awful. Somebody just texted from Ohio, hey, Mike, I'm wondering if now Biden will give people in California $750 apiece like Maui and the Carolinas. Yeah, what's FEMA going to do? Well, we got to pray for these people right now and pray that the loss of life is non-existent. I always say this to people who experience a property loss. Homes can be replaced. Cars can be replaced. You can't replace human beings. You can't replace your pets. You can't replace life. So hang in there. California, we're praying for you. 800-655-MIKE. Mike in Forest City, North Carolina texts, I love Trump's big ideas. The only way to turn this country around is to make big plans. Removing everyone's gas water heater isn't going to do it. That's right, Grandpa Joe Biden. What a dumb move that is. 17 before the hour. A lot more coming up on a busy Wednesday. Stay with us. 11 minutes before the hour. I struggle with this. I asked Hugh about these environmental policies, and I just want to be diplomatic. I want to be sensitive. I know people have loved ones in California. I'm not trying to be a jerk here. But Hugh is very matter of fact. These policies, these environmental policies of no clear cutting. You got to the Energy Act and the Environmental Protection Acts and all these things lead to occasional catastrophe. So will they change? Will we change our thinking on this? Our best shot, our best hope is with the golden era that we're about to enter into with President Trump as the 47th president of the United States of America and the Republican majority in the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court and in state legislatures. Republicans are running things now. So we've got the grown-ups back in charge. And, okay, are we going to make some changes where they need to be made? So when they get worried about whether or not to rename Abraham Lincoln High School, George Floyd High School, how about they worry about wildfires and how to prevent them and how to have the water coming? You're more worried about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, California, let's be honest, it's run like a crackpot dictatorship. They're nuts out there. It's incredible how crazy they are, how their policies. You go to San Francisco, it's a lost cause. So is this new era enough? Is the new era enough? Will it be enough to turn things around even in a place like California? One open line, 800-655-MIKE. Now, again, I'm sensitive to these fires are burning right now out of control. It's catastrophic, but is it appropriate to look at some of these environmental policies and how they can wreak havoc on a place like California? Here's Kevin in California, San Diego to be precise. Hi, Kevin. Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
If these environmentalists were to see how many animals die in these fires, I was in the San Diego fire, and it still hasn't recovered. And it's been 2 decades.
I know.
It's horrific.
I know. It's awful.
It's just horrific.
It's awful. I saw a video last night of a guy rescuing his cat from a house, and he was so happy. His house was burning down, but he got his precious pet.
I'm talking deer and bear.
Yep, I know. Oh, all the wildlife. It's awful. It's just awful. Look, I just don't know when these people are going to wake up. And it takes grown-ups. It's like toddlers. When you're a parent, you got to be the grown-up. And you got to tell kids, this is what they have to do to goofballs like Gavin Newsom. Knock it off with these goofy environmental policies. People are losing everything. They're getting killed. Jerry's in Georgia. Jerry, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. Hello.
Thank you.
Hi.
I lived in California for over a year. Moved out there when I was... about 4 years ago, and I left California because of the people. The people stink. As far as I'm concerned, they could take California and can burn to the ground. They're dumb idiots, and they're sorry, and they just. I didn't take the people. I moved out and got moved back to Georgia.
I mean, it's people. There was U-Haul just published a list of people that are ordering U-Hauls to move in and out of states. Some of the top 4 states. I think number 1, I think, was Texas. South Carolina, Texas, Florida. Number 50, people moving out, California. People are leaving, Jerry. They're not.
They should be. I left. The people stink. They got nothing for brains. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they can burn down.
Well, they got something for brains. I just can't say it.
They don't use them right.
All right, Jerry. Good to hear from you. Thanks. And it's not the people of California, it's the leadership. But the people keep electing these leaders. You just wonder how these dummies in these blue cities, like Los Angeles and New York, keep voting for the same destructive politicians who continually devastate their own communities, and they do it over and over again. You got crime in New York. You have people lighting people on fire on subways. How about elect tough-on-crime prosecutors and politicians? What does it take to get these folks to wake up? We need the grown-ups to be in charge.